Good evening, you lovely people. We are back. It is back to Lee Judges TV with myself and Lee Judges talking all things Arsenal. And to be honest with you, these podcasts are going to end up getting longer, I think, by the week because there's so much to discuss after every game at the moment. And last night was no different. Lee was out there. I was doing the watch along. And if I'm honest with you, everybody was pretty much on the same page. When it comes to Mikel Arteta and Arsenal Football Club last night, I thought we started in the best way possible to get an early goal and completely chuck the game away. There was so much wrong with last night's performance tactically in terms of the managers' individual performances, strange decisions, and there's no real place else to start than to ask you to do us a favour, and that's smash the like button. Get the subscribers up. Our next target is 40k, so make sure you can do that straight away, people. If you want to come follow my channel, it's Football's 12th Man Podcast, and I'll be on straight after this. Listen, Lee, I got to just ask you, mate. I went on a bit of a rant on my fan cam last night, and I think it was justified as to why. I was a bit pissed off, mate, and sorry if that comes across negative, but I weren't a happy boy, and reasons for that will be explained after I give you the platform, mate, because you were there. So maybe you saw it differently. It's always weird, isn't it? When you sit in the studio and you watch it, and you watch it there live, obviously you see different things and you look at the game differently. You heard a lot more than I heard because obviously with the audio down, I haven't heard much of the atmosphere. It looked electric. So I'll ask you what your thoughts were, and more importantly for me, Lee, the team lineup I want to start with. So give me your thoughts, bro.
Listen, I get what you're saying. I'm not as brutal as you've been. I felt that, fine margins yesterday. If I'll be really honest, 1-0 up. I felt that, first and foremost, I've got to say this, Dan, the atmosphere in that ground last night was electric. They were up for it from 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, right, is a 9 o'clock kickoff over there. So it's not 4 hours before. It was 5 hours before the game, right? They were in the bars, their fans were up for it. And when they got into the ground, the Tannoy bloke got them really up for it. It was an unbelievable experience. I mean, I've been to a few grounds and White Man, but they were really, really up for it. Team selection, got it wrong. Said before the start of the game, got it wrong. You've got a game against Manchester City. Now, listen, at the end of the day, what's frustrating me about everybody, a lot of people are turning around and going like, well, it's not the end of the world. We lost that game. We can still qualify. I get that. So why are you playing Saka then if it's not the end of the world? Like, you know what I mean? We've got a massive game on Sunday. I felt that, you should have been rested. I said it before the game and, wrong decision. Then on top of that, Dan, which I brought up yesterday, which I don't know if people... Why are you resting Ben White for this game? So basically then you take... Because Ben White's out of the team, and I don't know why you're rotating. What is this rotating crap that I'm hearing now? Because certain players are getting rotated and others are not. Right, Ben White, got not a problem with Ben White. He's got 2 weeks off in after Sunday, right? But with him breaking down, right, Saka, and then Ben White, the whole of your right side's gone down. After 20 minutes, Dan. You know what I mean? I can't understand that. Then he brings Ben White on in the second half. So why are you resting him in the first place? Can someone please explain all this, And on my groups and all that, the ones that turn around to me, when you've criticised back Arteta, have all gone into hiding for some unknown reason. Like they're not coming out on a defence of him or whatever, because there is no defence of what he done yesterday. That's first and foremost. I look at it then the squad rotation is very, very difficult, but you have got to get that right, Dan. You've got to get that right. If they win the game yesterday and you play Saka and he gets injured, you can defend it a little bit, but we lost it. Now, we lost it on a game, and this is what's really annoyed me about Mikel yesterday, is that he's turned around and come out again on his interview. Well, if you continue to keep missing chances, in these sort of games, you're not going to win games of football and blah, 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 blah. 2 years we've had this, and he's not addressed it, right? 2 years of singing a song. Super Mikel, we're on the way to the Champions League. Now, if you're not careful, you're going to go out at Lons, lose to Lons, lose to, like Seville now is a massive game now. You've got to get something from that game. So why are you resting Ben White, but you're not prepared to rest Saka? I'm going to be honest with you, because the drop-off in Saka, in Ben White and Tommy Asu isn't that much, Dan. So you get that, But there is a massive drop-off from Saka to Vieira, who come on. Vieira, by the way, disappointing. Now, I get it. I was speaking to Kevin earlier on this morning. We was having a chat, and he's right what he said. The players coming in have got to step up at some stage. I watched it, what did Vieira do in that game to contribute in that game? What did I don't think Smith Rowe was bad, but he didn't really do great deals and all that. Nelson, nothing, it was really, really the players that come on yesterday just let the manager down as far as I was concerned, And then I look at it on another point of view. Where was Odegaard yesterday? It was absolutely poor yesterday. Why? Because I don't think he's got the players that have gone in there. Now, this is my argument, right? And I'll argue till the cows come home on this decision yesterday about Saka. Why do you want to rest and people say to me, why do you want to rest Saka? I tell you why I'm resting Saka for this game here, because we've got Manchester City on Sunday without Martinelli as well. So you don't want to be going into a game like that without your two first choice wide players, Martinelli and Saka. Well, that's exactly what we're doing now, because we're going to go into that game with exactly what we had yesterday. There was nothing. There was nothing for Odegaard to work with. There's nothing for the pace of the side wasn't there. They could defend higher up the line or drop deep. We didn't have enough going on there. And, Trossard's performance, weak to say the least, at the end of the day. There wasn't one top performance in that apart from one man, and that was Declan Rice. And also, I'm going to say it there, you're 1-0 up, Dan, in the most hostile of places that I've been to for a very, very long while. What are we doing playing the ball out to our fullbacks? Lose the ball, they score a fantastic goal. You cannot do that in places like that. And I'm sorry, I'm going to say it again and again and again. When Leno got dropped for Ramsdale, how many games did it take before everybody was convinced that Ramsdale was the right decision? How many? 1, 2? Well, I'm on my fourth game now, and I am not seeing the massive difference between Raya and Ramsdale. I'm not seeing it. I've seen him play in 2 high-profile games against Tottenham and last night, and he's been at fault for 2 goals. I've seen it. Are you know what I mean? And I'm getting people still going, oh, he's better and everything like that. I'm not having it. I'm not having it now, And I'm not saying that Arteta should be sacked or whatever. I'm not saying that, But when you're in this position, Dan, we have got a very, very good side. Very, very good side, and it needs to be done right with rotation and whatever. Now, what doesn't convince me about rotation and whatever, let's go back to Bournemouth. We're 3-0 up against Bournemouth, right? And he's taking players off, right? I don't remember who he took off first, but it weren't Saka. The only reason he took Saka off because he was injured. After 30 minutes, get him off, Dan. If you're going to think to be playing him on this game there, get it on there, you know what I mean? At that. And I will say this, sorry, Lee, think you're being harsh on Raya. Why am I being harsh on Raya? He shouldn't even be playing last night, Tucky. He shouldn't even be. What did he contribute? What has he done to get us into the Champions League? Nothing. So when he fucking messes up, I'm going to have him on it. Raya is better. I haven't seen him better in any game yet. He might well be better than him. I'm going to say he might well be better than Ramsdale. I haven't seen it in the last 2 games, Dan. I really have not seen it. And I'm frustrated about it yesterday, you know what I mean? And the fucking defence of certain people in this football club. You know what I mean? Forget about that. Forget about everything else. How many more seasons are we going to continue to miss chances? Tottenham Hotspur miss chances. They take their chances and score. Yesterday, the same thing. Still not been addressed. But a goalkeeping issue can be addressed straight away. I'm sorry, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, and listen, if you put a poll out now, Dan, about, I'm going to get this out now with Ramsdale and Raya, it might be 60, 45, 48, 52 in Raya's favour. I don't know. I don't know what it would be, but I think we should put a fucking poll out there, right? Yeah, it ain't going to be much. So if it's not much, why change it? That's my argument, like, you know what I mean? But we cannot improve on a centre forward. I'm sorry, like, you know what I mean?
Wow, there's a lot there, and if
You
I'm
go
honest
on
with
then.
you, I agree with everything that you've said. I don't think I agree with anything, disagree with anything more. I'll tell you why Arteta has to hold L last night, and he has to hold more than one. The team selection, strong team, very, very strong team. Stronger than I thought we'd go with, Lee, but I didn't expect to see Saka starting. So I thought he must be
Nah,
100% fit then.
unbelievable.
Must be 100% fit. Saka, there's no problem. There's no injury. He won't go down. He won't get crocked. Arteta won't be that stupid. Wrong. Super Mick turned yet again into stupid Mick last night. You can't play Saka when he's got 3 games coming off injured and you've got Man City coming up. There's no need for that. So furthermore on that point, we've spent £65 million on Kai Havertz instead of a right winger, which suggests to me we've got loads of right wingers. I trust them all after Saka. I don't need another right winger. I need a Havertz. So you buy a Havertz and you trust nobody on the right hand side. So that's why the kid's got injured, because he's played 89 consecutive games, which everyone keeps clapping and applauding, by the way. I actually find it quite irritating and frustrating that he's playing 89 games consecutively, but everyone else seems to think it's an unbelievable achievement and it's a great thing to be applauded for. Wrong. The geezer's crocked. This guy will be done at 26 if we carry on. He'll be finished, mate. Finished. 26-year-old should have another 10 years. Done. Completely, utterly crocked because we're overplaying the kid. And people compare it to Ronaldo and Messi. Don't drop Ronaldo and Messi. Yeah, listen, we're talking about Manchester City coming up when a guy has been cropped for 3 games. If Bukayo Saka's fit 100%, we don't have this conversation, Lee. He plays because he's a top talent. The reason I don't think people are getting this. The fans are suggesting to rest the kid because he looks crocked. Not because we might think he might need a nice rest and a cup of tea, because actually he's come off 3 games injured. He came off the North London derby. He came off at Bournemouth the other night injured, and he didn't play at Brentford. So now, that's it. He's had his rest. Keep playing. No, I'm not having that. When you come off crocked for a couple of games, you need a rest. There was no need to play Bukayo Saka last night. Absolutely zero need for it whatsoever. You got Nelson sitting there. You got Vieira who come on. You got Smith Rowe. You got Trossard there who was back into the mix. There's other options. He seems to be obsessed with Jesus playing out wide at the moment. So for me, there was absolutely no need to play Bukayo Saka. And he got another injury last night. It wasn't the same ankle knock. He got a muscle hamstring injury. So people then go, well, it's all right then. It was nothing to do with his ankle. No, it's absolutely to do with the fact that he's going to get injured because the kid is knackered. He's been playing ridiculous amount of football for club and country. And he ain't going to get a break if he's anywhere near glimpse of being fit. Southgate will throw him back in. So this kid needs a break. So that's the first thing he got bang wrong, right? Completely wrong. The second thing is this Raya situation. It don't look very good on him, does it? The geezer was bought because his kicking is sensational in comparison to Aaron Ramsdale. What happened last night was he kicks the ball out stupidly. They then go on the break. And I must say, Lonza are superb because we gifted them the goals, but my God, did they take them? Because when we're gifted chances and have been all season, we've been fluffing our lines. So when we give them a goal, boom, straight in. So David Raya, I'm with you. I haven't seen. Oh wow! I tell you what, that is levels ahead of Ramsdale. I thank God, Ramsdale. Well done. You've done a good job. You can go. Keep this guy in. He's been absolutely sensational. I've got no doubt that he's a better goalkeeper, but he ain't showing it right now. And that's the point me and you are making. Yeah. He hasn't shown anything right now to go, wow, These 5-6 games I've seen of Raya, I've never seen anything like it, Lee. I mean, unbelievable. And when Emi Martinez come in, straight away I saw a better goalkeeper than Leno. And I ain't seeing that with David Raya right now. Now, I've got no doubt that he will be a better goalkeeper in the long term. But it's about what is happening right now, not what might happen in the long term. We're always talking about the future. How about right now? Let's talk about right now. The other thing, I know you said he didn't have a bad game again, and that's all I keep hearing. He was all right. He was all right. Yeah, he did it all right. I still like the pass he made. Oh, he made a good header. He flicked it on a couple of times. This Kai Havertz obsession has got to stop, by the way, because giving him a penalty has done nothing for his confidence whatsoever. Because last night I thought he was poor again. There was nothing I saw of him to go, wow. I'm sorry. People can call me negative and toxic all they want. I don't care. I'm used to it. I've had it for 4 years. This guy has been a poor signing for Arsenal. Let's just say how it is. £65 million, and we're bigging up headers. Because when we spent 72 million on Pepe, I didn't see us bigging up headers there or bigging up passes there. And he was creating and scoring, by the way. So let's have it right. It needs to be consistent. Is that because Arteta didn't sign Pepe? Maybe it was. I haven't seen this much protection and love and confidence boost and get behind and pick up players than I have of this guy. Maybe it's because Mikel Arteta is loved and he's the one who signed him. Question mark. Then we look at the tactics yesterday. We go 1-0 up and we do what Gareth Southgate does for England. We shit ourselves. We can't hack it. The atmosphere clearly got to them and we sat back. And every single pass, Lee, was safe. Let's put it backwards. Let's not go forwards. Erdegaard, come and sit next to me, Declan Rice says. Don't go forward. You stay and do a double pivot with me because that geezer didn't go forward. He was awful. Absolutely awful. Jesus is trying. He's trying. Arteta, you go on the right. We'll put Fabio Vieira up top. I couldn't believe my eyes. Reece Nelson, you have a go in the middle. Couldn't believe my eyes. Obsessed with Jesus on the wing. No idea why, but he's obsessed with Jesus on the wing. Players yesterday that I've been bigging up, Lee, for a long time. Saliba, I love you, son, but you were poor. Gabriel, I love you, but you were poor. There was only Tommy Asu and Declan Rice that could actually walk off the pitch and go, I actually played all right. Everyone else was a shambles, though. And the substitutes, I don't get any of it. So, people can laugh. Oh, Dan's having a rant. It's only one game. I'm worried and concerned. I don't want Arteta to go next morning. I'm asking the question, does he deserve to be held accountable for last night? That's all I'm asking, Lee. Doesn't mean he has to go now. Doesn't mean he has to get sacked. Doesn't mean whoever else comes in and does a better job. All this rubbish that we keep hearing. I want to know what it was last night, game plan wise. Please, someone talk to me. Please, someone either come on here, put it in the chat, or I'll ask you, Lee. What was the game plan last night when we went 1-0 up? Because it looked like get really nervy, get really defensive, be negative, and don't concede a goal. Oh, we're slipping up again, all over the place. Tactically clueless last night, Mikel Arteta. And this is Lens, by the way, who are 15th in the Farmers League of France that everyone laughs at. And we can't beat them. We have got a Europa League group. That's how lucky we are. We don't realise how lucky we are. We could have had Newcastle's group. Yeah, we haven't got Newcastle's group. We've got a group of Seville, PSV, and Lens. And already people are going, oh, I don't fancy going away to Seville then if we can't beat Lens. Oh, I don't fancy going to PSV where we lost last year. This geezer's European record is nothing short of embarrassingly. Embarrassing. He's lost to Villarreal. He's lost to Olympiacos. He's lost to Sporting Lisbon. He could only just get scrape through against Zurich and Bodo Glimt. He can't go and beat Lens away from home. That's 6 already. Come on, man. Got to get better.
No, listen, I agree with what you're saying there. The European League is fair. First of all, I've got to address a few things. I'm not slagging off Raya when I say about this Ramsdale-Raya thing. What I'm saying is that Raya has come in, and I'm not blaming him for the 2 goals that actually conceded yesterday. Let's get that right. I thought that the first finish is unbelievable. Yeah. What I'm saying is that since you've dropped a player, right, that and brought in Raya, I have not seen a massive difference. And you can go on about goals conceded and whatever, you can say that about Ramsdale's made a few mistakes along the line. Of course he has. Raya's made 2 in 4 games or 5 games so far this season. Goalkeepers are going to make mistakes. I'm not saying that they're not going to. But when everybody goes on about, all right, you're dropping out a player, listen, you could turn around and say that Thomas Partey is going to be dropped for Declan Rice. And I get it. I love Partey, but Declan Rice is something special. I'm watching him every week now and I'm thinking, wow. every single time. When I see David Raya go, I'm not going wow, 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 wow. When Leno got dropped for Ramsdale, it took 2 games for me to go. I didn't want Leno dropped, like, you know what I mean? I thought a bit harsh. I thought it was a bit harsh, Martinelli being dropped, but like, you know, it's nothing to do with I'm just saying it as it is. I want Raya to be the best goalkeeper in Europe and in the world, because I need Mikel to justify that decision. He's not justifying it at the moment. Doesn't mean to say he's not going to go on to yesterday, like, you know. I think when you've got midfield players at this moment in time, people are saying about Odegaard, you know what I mean? You've got to have, when you're a player at the top level, you have to have options going up front then. Where, you know, you took all of Odegaard's right side away. Can we get that into the fact after 20 minutes? Because once Saka comes off, White's already out of it. So where those little connections have been made all through the last season and everything, they've gone down. So Odegaard actually like has gone out of it, like, you know what I mean, from that thing that better. And people keep saying to me, Raya is better than Ramsdale. I'm not going to argue with that. Well, fucking well show me that he's better. Don't start giving me stats and whatever. I've seen 4 or 5 games yet, and so that anybody come on here and say that he has done better, because I can tell you this now, you people in the chat, has he had a better game than Ramsdale had at Anfield last season? No, he hasn't. Has he had a better game than when he had at Tottenham last season? No, he hasn't. When are you going to say to me, show me a game when he's played for Arsenal, right? And that's the difference at this moment in time. Show me a game where he has played better than Ramsdale in an Arsenal shirt, and you'll be sitting there all fucking day, right? Because he hasn't, right? He hasn't impressed that much since he's played at Arsenal. That doesn't mean to say he's not a bad goalkeeper. I'm not going on to that, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm saying it. And hopefully on Sunday, Raya produces one hell of a performance against Man City, because I tell you he's going to have to, because we're going to be under the pump a little bit on Sunday, and we need him to do that, like, you know. And let's hope that he does. But at the end of the day, I think after 3 or 4 games last season, we can tell you that Ramsdale back. And it's not just Ramsdale. I'm looking at the situation with Ramsdale. Forget about that, right? I'm looking at it and going, well, we've seen for 2 years we've needed a number 9. For 2 years, Dan, we've needed to upgrade up front, because then you can play Jesus out wide. You can have Eddie coming on doing what he's doing. We've not done it. Part of that game yesterday, and we've been here before, right? Yeah, we've been here before. We're 1-0 up, 2-1 down. I just see us doing the same thing all the time. Same thing. I'm not blaming Mikel by this. I'm just saying same thing, because we have not got the option of a long ball inside up front, or something different up front. We needed something different up front yesterday. I'm going to be really honest, Dan. I'm really honest with you. I know you're saying it's a Europa. I see that's the best team I've seen this season. Lons. They're the best team that I've seen. I've not seen Jesus bullied by a centre-half like he was yesterday for the first time since Jesus has come to the club. You know what I mean? He couldn't get round. He couldn't do it. I know he got the goal, but the centre-halves, the defensive was very, very good. Look at their chances that they had, Dan. Didn't they have 3 chances? They buried 2 of them with fantastic finishes. We're missing open goals. Fantastic corner from Tommy for the Tomiyasu one, like, you know what I mean? Well worked free kick, executed straight at the goalkeeper. Trossard, you know what I mean? I'm going to go on to this go on to Kai Havertz now, because I'm going to have a little bit of I see it a little bit different. I thought Kai Havertz had a good first half. I thought we'd done well in the first half, breaking up play. We're in control of the game. Should score from the volley, or, you know, if he scores that, and then in the second half he drives right through the midfield, plays in a lovely ball to Trossard. Trossard then should score. If he scores, yeah, it's true. He miskicked it. Dan, he cut inside and miskicked it. Like, do you know what I mean? If he scores that,
well, listen, he was poor. He weren't fit enough. He was poor. Trossard.
Yeah, he wasn't sharp. You know, I mean, yeah, I get that. You know what I mean? But our options are limited a little bit, like, you know what I mean? Because, you know, he's come into a top. Listen, I'm going to say that I thought it was a top level game yesterday. You have to give them.
I was impressed with Lons, mate. I was impressed with Lons.
I'm going to say you have to give them credit, like, you know what I mean, like, you know, I'm sorry, like, you know what I mean, but like, I'm going to go back to the Havertz thing, like, you know what I mean. there was I thought, yeah, right, he's done okay first half. Then second half, Dan, when you need a 65, 70 million, 80 pound player, he went missing, mate. He went missing. That's my, you know what I mean? So you can turn around and say, yeah, he's done all right when we're 1-0 up, when we're going and everything like that. And then when it really, really mattered, he went missing. And that's my disappointment with him. You know what I mean? Like, and so there's no real excuse for it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think at the end of the day, the substitutions yesterday, and I'm not blaming Arteta by this, like, you know, on comes Vieira, who's done well this season. What did he contribute in that game yesterday? He never went past a player once, Dan. Neat touches and everything like that. Never drove at their back four once. I look at Trossard, never drove. Nelson come on. He ran the ball out 4 times out of 5, Dan. You know what I mean? Like you've got to have quality coming into this side. Like, you know, I look at the defence today. You know, when it matters at 1-0, that's when you've got to defend properly, mate. You've got to really defend properly. I didn't see that yesterday. Like, you know, I see them defending when it was 2-1. I see them defending how we probably should have defended at 1-0, Dan. I don't see their goalkeeper kicking it to their left back and giving us a chance. You know what I mean? Like, they made one mistake, yeah, for the first goal. We capitalised on it. But I look at that. There was a reality check for us yesterday, Dan. A reality check for we're not good enough tactically by the manager. I felt that players were left wanting a little bit. Like, you know, everybody's going how well Smith Rowe done when he come on. Did he? He done okay, Dan. You know what I mean? Like, but I didn't see nothing spectacular from him yesterday. Like, I thought he done okay, but okay is not good enough in the Champions League. Okay is not good when you're playing Spurs. You know, and this is the thing. I looked at that game yesterday, and you know, Declan Rice looks pretty good, and you're right with Tomiyasu, he done well, like, you know what I mean. You know, Smith Rowe done okay when he come on. I think realistically, Dan, out of all the substitutions, he was the best out of a bad bunch, but he doesn't get a chance. He doesn't really get a chance. I thought, you know, out of all. Now, can he do better than what Havertz done in that midfield? I'm going to say that probably, well, let's give him a chance then, because he can't do no fucking worse. Trossard yesterday, can he do any worse than that performance? No. You know what I mean? Like, if you put actually Smith Rowe out on the right-hand side, I think he would have contributed a little bit more than Vieira in that role. You know, it wasn't so much Arteta letting it. The players that come on yesterday have got to step up, Dan. You know what I mean? They didn't.
Well, let me ask you this. I was told when the transfer window shut by many Arsenal fans that this is an 8 or a 9 out of 10 window. And they told me I was wrong for giving it a 6.5 tops. Thought the Declan Rice signing was outstanding. And you're right. He has been more than outstanding. For me, different gravy, right? But I've seen us spent £65 million on a position that I didn't think we needed to strengthen. And there's a right-hand side there that's lacking. There's a centre-forward position there that needs upgrading. There's certainly, in my opinion, only a couple of injuries away from being short of the back again. So for me, Lee, I ask you this truthfully. Is last night a little bit of a wake-up call in relation to our squad depth still?
Not squad depth, squad quality. Squad quality.
That's what I mean.
Like, you know, I look at the likes of Vieira. I look at the likes of Nelson. I think when you're playing against Bournemouth and playing against the bottom half of the Premier League, fine. But you're talking like the top half now and the elite in the Champions League. I will say that people. I'm going to be really honest with that. People in the chat, you know, about Lons yesterday. Listen, they were up for it yesterday, a little bit like we was against PSV. Just remember, if you went to the game against PSV, everybody was buzzing, weren't they, for it? Like, you know what I mean? They were buzzing for the game and everything, like, you know. And I think that does help the momentum. That atmosphere yesterday was a difficult thing for us to get involved in. It was fucking loud, Dan, not from the minute to the last. You know what I mean? So it was very, very difficult. But so when you're in those sort of games, that's when you need, when we're 1-0 up. Listen, I'm being honest, Dan, we never actually silenced the crowd, but we was 1-0 up there. Havertz has that chance to make it 2-0. You've got to take that, Dan. You know what I mean? 1-1, and the game's. I thought we come, but like first 5 minutes, second half, started off well again, on top, not by a lot, but slightly. Trossard gets that chance. He misses it. They get on top. They have a cutback, which just goes wide of the post. Like, you know what I mean? So there's your warning. Second, 3 or 4 minutes later, after Tomiyasu misses a very good chance, bang, great finish, and it's a different game. And that's what I thought yesterday. I don't think, with all the things that I've said and how disappointing about, the goalkeeping situation, whether you think Havertz was brilliant or not, team selection or whatever, there wasn't a lot between the two teams. It wasn't a lot, fine margins. The difference was that they took their chances. We'd have beaten Spurs if Jesus scores that second goal and we go 2-0 up. Fine margins, Dan, and it is fine margins. But that is if you're going to go on and do well in the Champions League, I think there's a lot of games like yesterday. You know what I mean? Like where you're up against it, you battle on, and all of a sudden, you nick one and goal, and you end up winning a game 2-1 or 3-1, and go, "Cool, that was a tight game." But your strikers win you those matches. They win,
and that's
you
what's got
those
to change, Lee. He comes out and says we're missing chances. What you do
Well,
about
address
that?
it then. Address it.
Yeah.
He's got to address it, and he hasn't. And that's my argument about, like, people go, "Oh, you like Ramsdale and all that." Like, I think at the end of the day, I don't think that needed addressing as much as the number 9. That's what I'm saying. And last night, a real top class striker was required. We're playing in Champions League away. We're losing 2-1. You're bringing on Nelson, Eddie, Vieira,
Smith Rowe.
They're not at that elite level that you need the centre forward for. Do you know what I'm saying?
Maybe we needed an Ivan Toney.
Well, I'm looking at it and you think, like, the goalkeeper, whoever you're playing goal yesterday, I've got no problem with. If he wants to play Raya, play him. There's not a great deal of difference, right? There's not a great deal of difference between Tomiyasu and Ben White. You can have an argument there, Dan, like, you know what I mean? You maybe have an argument on the left-hand side a little bit, like, Trossard or Martinelli. Like, by the way, he's been missed massively, you know what I mean? Like, and this is what I'm saying. And when you've got big players missing, you have to go down. There's not a lot of difference. There's not a lot of difference between Declan Rice and Thomas Partey, if you'd be really honest. There's an argument for it, like, but that number 9, you know what I mean? Like, there is. Jesus, yes, but you can then play Jesus. Do you imagine if you've got a good number 9, you've got Jesus, then can go right or left and all that. That's the difference, Dan. That is my problem with this at the moment.
But this is the thing with this versatility thing. He wants everyone to be able to play everywhere. And yesterday, they're all over the place. They're going right, left, middle, right, left, middle. Every single pass was keeping it safe and going backwards. It was poorly. It was just poor to watch. And I've got to say, big up Turkish, because, Turkish has been saying for the last few weeks, don't quite look as fluid as last year. And everyone's been hammering him for it, slating him. We won 4-0. Shut up, be happy. He's right, though, isn't he? We ain't as fluid as last year. We don't look the same as last year. It looks like it's overthinking, overcomplicating. It don't look as electric to watch. It don't look like, wow, all eyes on Arsenal. They're flying. Everyone was proud last year, Lee. It was like, look at us. Everyone's talking about how great we're playing. At the moment, I'll tell you this now. We might only be a point off of Man City, but there's nobody in this world saying that Arsenal are going to win the league because of the way we're playing. So I get what Turkish is saying. A lot of people
get what Turkish is saying. I do get what Turkish is saying, but we've got short memories. Wins mask over certain things. I remember last season going to Leeds and getting outplayed and winning 1-0. I remember just getting past Aston Villa last season, 2-1. I remember just getting past Fulham 2-1 last season, like, yeah. Then I see us go to Bournemouth and blow them away. Well, I don't think we've played as well this season, but there were performances like that during that run, and I think there always is, Dan. You know what I mean? Like, but what I agree with Turkish and all that, like, and I honestly think I'm going to be really honest. I said it last night. And hindsight's a wonderful thing. That sort of performance and results been on the cards all season. We've got away with it on a couple of occasions, but we haven't got away with it yesterday because the opposition were that slight better. Do you see what I'm saying? When they finishes and things like that. But we got found out a little bit yesterday. We need to up our game a little bit. But I will say this in your defence, and I don't care what anybody says. I think Manchester United are struggling. Manchester City are struggling a little bit because they haven't got their big guns playing. I think Martinelli being out on the left-hand side has been a big loss. Now you lose Saka, you got your two wide players, and that's going to be a big hit for anybody to say, right? Just some, I didn't quite get it in the chat. We went through about, would we have signed Raya come available, and I get that so that was available. Maybe there ain't a centre forward at this moment in time available in the summer for them to get that down. So I get that, But come January, there is, right? There is. So that I want to see them be as ruthless as they have with the goalkeeping situation and certain other areas when it comes to January. That's my argument now, because I get that. You could turn around and say, why don't we go and sign a centre forward? Well, they're not really available, and they're not. But we know a certain forward, let's be honest, Dan. Tony might have been available in the summer, but he's not available to the January. Do you see what I'm saying?
Facts.
So it's facts. But he does become available, and I want to see the same ruthlessness of the shown with the goalkeepers that they do with that centre forward. That's my argument about it. It's not a criticism of anything else. We need that centre forward. That is where we want to go. And listen, it's not all doom and gloom yesterday. I did see some things yesterday that I quite liked. The atmosphere was horrendous in there, very, very hostile. One of the big, and we didn't quieten it, but I felt, me and my big mouth, I said, you know what, with all this hostility, we're 1-0 up there. I think we're doing well. And then we go and give away that goal. But, typical. But I felt up until that stage, we played well. I think we played that well, So,
the thing is, Lons are going to make it like that. 20 years without Champions League football they've had, right? So the last time they were in the Champions League was 20 years ago. And a lot of people have said, we're young squad, inexperienced. We ain't been able to quite handle the hostility. And I think, hang on a minute, Zinchenko has played Champions League football for many years, as has Gabriel Jesus. Gabriel's played it with Lille. Havertz won the damn competition with Chelsea. I'm not having this excuse anymore of, we ain't got real Champions League level players, because all of them are good enough to play in this competition. And I tell you this now, they should be good enough to beat Lons. And if they ain't, then God help us, because we ain't going to get anywhere in the Champions League if we can't beat Lons. That's all I'm saying. No disrespect to them. They deserve to win. They were the better side. But they ain't going to get to very far, Lee, are they? Lons are not going to be. You're not going to get a semi-final and go, who we got? Lons. Lons. So I don't want them.
100%.
So we got to be beating teams like that, bro.
Yes, 100%, and that's you're dead right. Lons are not going to win this Champions League. I can say that now, right? I'd be very, very surprised if they, even though I thought they were a very, very good side, they're not going to do it. Yes, I think that if you're going to go to other grounds in Europe, you're going to get that sort of atmosphere and all that. You've got to be able to deal with it. And I think to a certain degree, that didn't affect us, Dan. I don't think the atmosphere affected the players yesterday. I just think we didn't play that well. Maybe. So I don't really know why, but let's go through the team. You know what I mean? I don't think Raya had a bad game, if I'll be honest, apart from what the kick. Other than that, no chance of the two goals. I thought Tomiyasu played well. I don't think Saliba and Gabriel were at their best. Zinchenko had a poor game, Dan. Let's be really honest about it. I know we all love Zinchenko.
Horrific. I like him. Giving the ball away.
Yeah, I thought he was poor. You go into the midfield. I'm going to say it now. I thought that Declan Rice was outstanding. Havertz, okay, poor second half, not great. Odegaard, poor. Saka, before you could see that he weren't fit from the word go. Jesus, that's his worst game that I've seen him play. If I'll be honest, I know he scored, and and I don't think it was from the want of trying and all that. Trossard poor. But what we do is we're hammer Arteta and we're hammer Kai Havertz and rightly so. But there's other players yesterday that have got to,
Oh yeah,
stand up and say, right, that weren't good enough. And the thing is, Dan, if you've got 11 players there, right, and I'm going to be really honest, like without those 11 players, 2 players played well last night. You're not going to win games. Certainly not in a Champions League. You've got to have 9 players on it and 2 maybe not having a great team like it, a great game. You cannot have so many players playing poorly. And you've got to ask, why was that? Why was that? And I think it's a combination of a lot of things. I do think yesterday, I don't know how people feel about it. I'll ask the question like, I'm gutted when Saka comes on after 20 minutes. It deflated me a little bit. Does it deflate the players? I don't know. Because I'm thinking, oh, that's him out now for the Man City. Now, I know you're playing a game, you don't think of that, but as a fan, I did. And you then you go, right, okay. The 4 substitutes that come on, oh my God, they were pouring all down as well. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It wasn't anybody that come on. I know a few people have said Smith Rowe played all right when he done it, but he wasn't sensational. We need someone coming on and
None
being
of them were, mate.
sensational. None of
None
them.
of them were sensational. It's poor, and this is the thing, mate. When we're looking at it, like it's one game. I still think. Like, can I just say this? I still think we'll win our Champions League group, and I still think we'll go through.
Well, the results went for us yesterday, Dan.
They did. We got 2. We got another draw, so that means that both games we played, they've got draw. So it goes 4-3-2, 4-3-2-1 now. So we could be in a lot more trouble. But it is only a couple of games. You've got 4 more to go, right? I think we'll win all our home games. We'll have 9 points, and then we've got to go and take 8 points somewhere else to go through the group mathematically, right? Unless you're really unlucky and you get 3 people on the same, and all the results go away from us. So I've got no doubt that we'll go through, right? But what I'll say is, when we get further down the line and we think Lons is hostile, imagine if we go to the San Siro, or imagine if we go to the Bernabeu or the Nou Camp. That's more hostile than Lons. Let's be real, yeah? So, Dortmund, the Sea Yella, you don't want any of those sort of sides. If you can avoid them, you would, because the hostility. So for me, we have to start learning quick, because we're here. It ain't about trying to mould ourselves in or build ourselves up. This is now. We've got to be looking at the Champions League right now.
100%. And the chat's going so quick, I'll just see something there. We have to get something at Seville. I'm not saying we have to win there, but we have got to get something from that. That's our next game, by the way, away to Seville. It's not an easy game. It's
tough.
It's tough, you know what I mean? And I do think that every game's difficult. Our record in Europe's not good. You know what I mean? Like, I've not seen us go away in Europe for a very, very long time, Dan, and say, wow, we played really well. I look back at our Europa League performances last season. I didn't think any of them were great. I know we made a lot of changes, but I didn't think they were great. But we've got to go to that game against Seville. Now, our next 3 games are Manchester City at home, Chelsea away, and Seville. They are 3 massive games where, you've got to play your best team and all that. Like, you got on the Chelsea game, you're coming on the back of international football where managers don't give a shit about running players into the ground, right? Let's be honest. You know what I mean? Like, Saka's going to not be a part of that now because of what's happened. Like, I know that Declan Rice has been struggling a little bit. Like, I'll pull him out of that and all. Like, you know what I mean? I'd pull as many as I can out of it as I can. So it's going to be a bit tough. And the thing is that maybe going there, we'll have a little bit better. We'll have Partey back in the team. I think now. It's too early for Saturday, but for what I've seen of it now, Partey comes back into the holding midfield and just let Declan Rice play that the number 8 role. Let him go wherever he wants. You know what I mean? Let him be a little bit there. And we're going to have Martinelli back, like, you know what I mean? So it's a real thing, like, you know what I mean? So, yeah, Vic, that's right there. Like, Valencia away was one of our better games. Do you remember that's when Aubameyang got hat-trick?
It's brilliant. Brilliant. Under Emery.
Is that where we're going back to, which is a long while ago? You know what I mean? We need a performance in Seville. I'll tell you that now. And if we lose that game, Dan, we're in danger of not qualifying. Let's be serious.
Europa League. Could be Europa League.
It could be Europa League. We could be back into, like, you know what I mean?
It's a worry, man. It is a worry. Listen,
That would be a real big worry. Now, listen,
would it?
not all
It
doom
would
and
be.
gloom.
That would just be unbearable, really. I mean, we're waiting 7 years to get back into it. I don't think it'll happen. I think we'll go through. I really do. But if you lose to Seville, you're making it really hard for yourself, Lee. 100%.
Well, you're putting
Sorry,
pressure on your own games.
Absolutely.
We've got to get 6 points from our next 2 games.
Absolutely, we have.
If we beat Seville and then we beat Seville at home, then we've just got to take care of Lons at home and we're through. You know what I mean? So that's it. So if we pick up 9 points in the next 3 games,
it's job done.
It's job done. It's doable. You know what I mean? And that's where my problem with yesterday's game was. You know what I mean? Listen, we lost yesterday. It ain't the end of the world. And if you're going to lose, that's probably where the game to lose, because it can be retrieved. It's not like the end. You know, we can still use the same.
It's not a cup game where you go out like,
no. We got 3 games where we, you know, like. But if we were to lose at Seville, then it becomes, you know, very, very damaging. Like, you know, I walked out the ground yesterday like with us in 3rd place and in a lot of bother. And it weren't until someone turned around and said, PSV scored in the last minute of the game. Now, if PSV, after what we see of them at the Emirates, can get something at Seville, then surely we can, like, you know what I mean? So that's how I look at it. So we've got to go there and put in a performance, and I do think that they will. I liked what Declan Rice said in his interview yesterday. We'll learn from this, you know what I mean? Like, he says all the right things. But you still got to have your top players playing in that game. Like, you know, hopefully Saka will be. If Saka's got a hamstring injury, I don't think it's a severe one, because he just felt a little twitch. So it's a 3-week job. So he should be just about ready for Seville game. I think that Martinelli will be back by then. I think that the front 3 of Jesus, Martinelli, and Saka will be enough for us to get us in there, like, you know.
Let's hope so. Listen, we've got to close the show by talking about the weekend. We are going to bring it up again tomorrow night. We're on the North London podcast tomorrow. Listen, I've got to say this. My mum's in the chat, bless her, and she's like you. Her favourite player is Martinelli. And she says we miss him, and I think we do. I can't wait for him to come back. And I don't know what the score is with him. I don't know who's fit this weekend now, Lee. Well, what I want to ask you is, without Rodri and KDB, you know, Turkish made a good point. Turkish said to me last night, look, if we have to lose tonight and we win on Sunday, I'll take it. But he didn't think that we're going to be playing the strongest team. But he says, you know, if I would have said to you last season, playing Man City, they've got no Rodri, no Gundogan, no Mahrez, no KDB, you'd go, whoa, I'll take that. And that's what they've got. Now, I know obviously they've replaced Gundogan and Mahrez since then with Doku, Kovacic, who look very, very good. But I do go into this game a lot more confident because of those players being out. Having said that, now that we've got injury problems, Partey might look like he's back, and I hope he does come in the middle so that Rice can play in the 8, be an upgrade on Havertz. Obviously, Saka's going to be out, and I'm going to ask you who you think should start on that right-hand side. And I imagine Trossard will continue on the left-hand side if Martinelli's not out. Is that strong enough for you, Lee?
It's a worry. It's a worry. I'll ask you the question. You take a risk on Partey playing?
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
I do as well. I do as well. Like, even if you get 70 minutes out of him and bring Jorginho on, that's what I would do. Right? You might not like this, but this is what I'm going to go with. I don't like it myself. There's a couple of things to ponder about. I think the back 4 takes care of itself. It'd be really interesting to see the goalkeeper. I think that Raya will start. I think that decision's been made. So I'm going to go Raya in goal, normal back 4. Up front, I think I'm going to go Jesus on the right, Havertz down the middle, and Trossard on the left.
Okay.
That's what I would do. Like, you know what I mean? I just think that we need. It's either going to be Havertz already. I think unless there's a miracle and Martinelli comes back, I don't see it though, Dan. I wouldn't mind seeing Martinelli on the bench and coming on the last 20 minutes or something, like, you know what I mean? But that's where I would go.
So I go Raya, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Zinchenko, Partey, Rice, Erdegaard, and my front 3. would be Trossard, Nelson, and Jesus. That's what I would do. I don't like Jesus on this wing. I don't like it.
Now, I
I
prefer
know
him down the middle, but who are you going to play on the wide right? Sorry.
I'd probably go with Reece Nelson and Trossard as a either side of Jesus. That's what I'd do. That ain't going to be the team, by the way. That's what I would do. That ain't going to happen. I tell you this now. I'll put all my money on that not being the front three. I think you're right. I think Havertz will probably play in it, or it will be Trossard, Jesus, and Eddie as a front three.
Yeah, listen.
Because Eddie didn't really play, did he? Eddie come on for like, what, 15 minutes? That means he's probably going to start on Sunday.
Yeah, listen, if he plays Eddie up front, I ain't got a problem with that. I just think that somewhere along the line, Havertz will play, whether it be in the middle or up front. You know what I mean? It's a real difficult one, Dan, this one. Like, you know what I mean? Look, listen, do you know what I'm going to say now? If it's Raya, Ben White, right, Saliba, Gabriel, Shinchenko, Partey, Rice, Odegaard, Saka's, Martinelli, and Jesus, I would be very, very confident that Arsenal will be beating Manchester City with the team that Manchester City got out. I'll be really confident like that. But I think losing Martinelli and Saka is as big as what losses that they've got, maybe even more, because I think they've got better players to come in and replace those players. Not as good, but I think that the drop from, you know, like there was do you know when, and this is a saying in football, sometimes, Dan, if you're not playing, it shows up more than when you are. And, you know, there's been people going, I'll bring in Trossard for Martinelli. Because Martinelli's not been there the last few games, my God, he has been missed. And now you know why. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I think that Martinelli, for what he does, also, I think that he's runs back and with the way he defends as well, helps out Shinchenko. I don't think Shinchenko's been brilliant since Martinelli's not been in the team as well. I think it's a massive, massive loss. I'm not confident going into this game because of, you know, losing. And that's why I wouldn't have played Saka. Now, forget about yesterday. In my mind, I'm thinking I can't go into Manchester City without Saka and I can't go in there without Martinelli. And by playing Saka, he's now it's made that happen. So, and that's all on the manager for me this time. Like, you know what I mean? I really do, like, you know, you see what it was like when Saka come off yesterday. The threat wasn't really there. It was from corners, to be honest, but we didn't really fret. Maybe the 60, 70 minutes that Trossard's had will make him a little bit sharper. I don't know, but you know, and to be honest, with Trossard, when he come in, he stepped in, Dan. So, you know, we are missing them two there. But again, you know what I mean? Come to 3:30, we'll be looking at that team sheet, and I think it's going to be either doom and gloom or we're going to be up there, like, you know what I mean?
Well, listen, the one thing I will be doom and gloom about is if Partey comes in at right back and we play what we did and we started with. That is another option people have forgotten about, is he might even do that. You know, he might even say, I won't have Zinchenko over this one. He ain't been that great. We'll have Gabriel, Saliba and Ben White and then Partey, and then we'll go with Rice, Havertz and Odegaard.
If I see Saka at right back, I'll walk out then, yeah.
Partey, you mean?
Yeah, sorry, Partey. If Partey is, Partey, I think I might walk out. I'm not even bother going in, like, you know what I mean? Like, if he does that will be an absolute disgrace if he does that. Because you know, Gabriel's come back since all of this has been superb. I think, you know what I mean? Like, it weren't great yesterday. He weren't bad yesterday, like, you know what I mean? But you know, I think that looks good. And listen, Shinchenko weren't at his best yesterday, but you know that there is a player in there. I think he made one superb pass for Trossard, and Trossard run it out yesterday. So, do I remember that on the first half? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the way he plays at times, he is looking for that eye of the needle pass. So he is going to give away the ball a few times. He's not safe. Like, when you look at him, he's not a safe player like where Havertz is. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, he does try those positions, like, So I think Zinchenko will play in this one. Look, we've got to be up for the game, whatever happens, Dan. If we don't win this game, that's 3 home games that we've not won in out of 5, is it? And that ain't good enough.
Yeah.
That ain't good enough. So it's a massive game going into the international break as well, like, so we need to be as positive as we possibly can, like, and listen, what happened last night is a completely different thing to Sunday now, like, I'm sure all the players have had the day off today, maybe even get a bit of a day off tomorrow as well, like, come back fresh and really go for it, like, and we've got to go for it. And one thing I will say is that Mikel got us where we are now. He has the right now to see if he can get us through it.
Oh, he will. He will. He ain't going anywhere, mate. He's going to stay.
I do find it very strange that people are saying, "Oh, he needs to be sacked and Arteta out and all that." Like, come on, you know what I mean? Like, as much as some of the things I haven't agreed with this season and the things that he's done and all that, like, I'm not at that point yet. Far from it. I think that he needs to up his game a little bit and make some right decisions. But listen,
it's a big season for him, Lee. It's a massive season for him. He's got.
Yeah, I do think
he knows that. It's a massive season for him to deliver. But it's early days. He's got to be given a chance to do that. He'll get the whole season, and we look back on it and go, right, where are we? Have we won something? No. Why have we not won something? Look at the context as to why we haven't won something, and then you can have that discussion. But now, we've lost the game. We've got to calm down and go for it. And we've got a massive game on Sunday, Lee. We have. So we've got.
Listen, I'm in the gang, if you like, where it says Arteta does need to be questioned. Of course he does. I'm in that group. I'm not saying that he shouldn't be. And if he carries on making the decisions that he's making, and we end up not, like, for instance, if we don't qualify, we get put back in the Europa League and we don't win the league and we don't challenge for the league, then questions, yes, have certainly got to be asked about it and all that, like, you know what I mean? But at this, 100%. And am I convinced with Arteta at this moment in time? I'm not convinced when he's making decisions that he's making, but am I prepared to go with it? Yes, I am. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not down this route of who can do better, neither. Like, I've heard that a few times. Like, if I listen, for me, like, Arteta will be judged on what decisions he makes. I've said it and I'll say it again. He will live and die, I think, on this Kai Havertz one. I really do.
100%.
I really do think that, like,
Yeah. Absolutely. Looking, I've got to go because I've got another show, but we'll wrap that up there. Thanks so much, people. If you do me a favour, stay tuned because you'll be redirected to my channel where I've got myself, Premsy, Northside, Goonerly and Loose talking all things Arsenal about last night. So if you do like what the guys have got to say, it's going to be quite a heated one, to be fair. It's going to be a good show. Different opinions and different good debates there'll be on this one. So make sure you head over now. We're literally going to go live in about 30 seconds when we stop this one. So thank you all so much. Make sure that you smash a like and subscribe and come and join us over at Football's 12th Man right now. Lee, I'll let you see us out.
I'm going to jump on and listen to it. Like, you know what I mean? There you go. Like, you know what I mean?
So, man, take it easy, people.
Enjoy your night, guys, and we'll see you tomorrow for the North London Derby podcast. Have a good night.